Good day, everybody. I'm giving you a journey, a milestone of my life at Amazon. Um, I'm going to give you the short version, which means that I'm not going to tell you what I've done prior to working at Amazon. I'm basically just giving you the rundown of what I was doing and where I'm at now. And there's a message attached to this. So I made a decision, a conscious decision to work at Amazon. Okay, it was due to family reasons that I had to do a graveyard shift. Decided to join Amazon team. When I was there, I was a picker. As a picker, for those who may not know, you can see YouTube videos everywhere about it, so I don't have to really get into detail. But picking is a very, it can be challenging. But what it is that you're working with a computer, you're working with totes to put items in, and you're working with robots that bring items to you. They bring the items to you, and you put the item in a tote, and then you send it off. Okay, so that's just the short version of what is done there. You're doing that. So I was doing that for quite a while. And it became a point where I wanted to transition. I heard that you can transition in other areas. Okay, so the next transition I went to was stowing. I was stowing. I was doing things there. Now I would like to remind you that I can be challenged uh, easily. That means that I don't get it on the first trial. It might take more than 3 and sometimes more than 10. But the graciousness of Amazon is they work with you. So I was doing stow, and actually I like stow. As a matter of fact, I felt I can get fly and look good and not sweat at stow. There's no real speed attached to it. So I was doing that for a while, and I was coached at least more than once, like 2 times, 3 times. But the third time, God bless this gentleman. This gentleman was from New York. He was an ambassador, and he gave me the skill. He gave me the best advice ever, and I was that guy. And then became a point where I was a little exhausted about that, or let's just say that I wanted to venture in new areas in regards to that. So I heard about, actually before that, let's get before that, when I was given the tour at Stowe, because this is very important. When I was given the tour to do Stowe, this lady that was an ambassador, she pointed, like, because you're introduced to Stowe. So she was giving a tour of those that never been there, in addition to those that's already have been at Amazon. So she was giving us tour, and this girl, I cannot remember her name, but I remember the moment. She pointed and said, "Now this area is the area you need to be at right here." She said something along those lines. She said, "Now that spot is the spot," or she was saying like that's the hot spot. What she was talking about is pack, and I kept that in mind. I'm like, okay, pack, cool. So long, like I said earlier, I was doing stow, and I guess I just was not too cool about it, or let's just say I wanted to venture in other areas. So I heard about Count. So Count has no rate. You just do you. What I mean by do you is you just do your job. There's no fast pace, there's no slow pace, it's just a pace. The thing about it is Count is next to pick. And so when they need people, or when they need extra people, they will pull you out of Count and have you go to pick. And I found myself doing it almost like 5 times a day. I'm probably exaggerating, but they were really like really like draining into getting into pick, and that was an area that I withdrew from. So it was just crazy. So I got a little disgusted about Count because I thought I would be counting all day. But they're so high demand and pick because that is the first, it's almost like the first responders for you to get your packages from your home. So they kept pulling me numerous times and it just became overly exhausting. So, as I mentioned to you earlier, I remember the girl that mentioned that pack was over there and that's the place to be. So, what I did is I transferred over to pack and I was doing my thing there. When I say I was doing my thing there, I was doing my thing. All right. So, the packing was easy, no brainer. It was so much of a cool environment that I was feeling myself and I was getting fly in there. That means you can get dressed up, look nice, don't have to break a sweat. You're just cooling. You know what I mean? And at that time, I'm just emphasizing, at that time, you was just chilling. Conversation, everything, music playing, cool PAs. It was just bomb.com. And then I became, they at some point they want you to branch out into other areas of pack so they can have someone to pull in case of other it's another position that they want to pull you in case they get low and they don't need enough packers. They need areas of rebin and inducting. That right there is where I felt the moment of truth in regards to processing this order. It took me a lot to emotionally. It was emotionally tearing me down. It just wasn't clicking. Just for better conversation, clicking. It wasn't registering with me all the way. But through the grace, I endured. The operations manager saw so much progress in my development that he enlists me to teach others. And that's where this vest come in. It says Learning Ambassador. You see the fancy pens in there. Still got like little notes. What you're doing is you're teaching, but you're also auditing, reviewing, coaching those who that might be lacking or being just like I was and falling into areas of pack, rebin, and inducting. They weren't meeting the expectations of the positions. You don't get a rate, you don't do anything, you just do your job. That's what I like. So as I was working as an ambassador, I learned the skills to tell people what people told me. The key is that I can be relational. No matter what background they came from, I'm relational to what they need. As I persevered with that, due to a source of desperation, I must admit, I was at a point where I wasn't succeeding the rates as a person working in sort. So basically, I had got written up and I had a certain amount of write-ups, and if I had one more, then it would be a termination. So with that, I had a mind state of survival. I was looking at other job positions, but also I was looking, okay, if I want to stay here, what can I do to stay off the radar? So that was the key thing. How can I stay off the radar? And I remember a gentleman that used to work in PAC, and he had worked in a department called Amnesty. And Amnesty is robotics. That's robotics partnering with the PIC department. So he was working at robotics for a while, and I was kind of listening to him, but it was going over my head. Like, okay, well, I see you have that position. Well, happy for you. Do tell. So all I do is just listen. So I'm ear hustling. But at this point, I had got written up, and I was thinking, how can I work in an area where there's no rate? How can I work an area where I can just do my job? I'm getting paid by the hour for doing my job. I don't want a job where I'm getting paid to do my job and also meet expectations of a rate. So I wanted to go on that track. And so as I was on my, pretty much you could say my last leg, I was thinking, well, there was that gentleman that told me about this position. And it's interesting, all positions that people tell me, they say, oh, it's relaxing. I could take a nap. I can eat some chips. I can do X, Y, Z. This is how easy and fundamental their department is. And so this gentleman that was working at Amnesty was telling me the same thing. And he said, there's no rate. So as per the guy that was at Amnesty, I had walked over to that operations station of Amnesty, and I told him, hey, I'm interested in learning. When is there a class? He said, okay, well, this class is on this date, but you first have to get approval from your operations manager. So I went over to my operations manager, said, and told him, hey, I'm interested in being in Amnesty. Push that envelope for me to the Amnesty department so they can train me and get the skill. That time came, mind you, between the time frame of inquiring about Amnesty and speaking to my operations manager, and for my manager to allow me to take a class, that took a frame about maybe 2 to 3 weeks. So I was working like a gladiator while I was working in the sort department. So the time came where they were offering a class, and then there's the actual, you go out and you're practicing in the field. So, I was taking the class, but before you pass the classroom program, you have to take a quiz and you have to pass certain tests to show you're approved. So I finally passed it. It was ready to go out in the field and learn. I must admit, but the analyzation part, there's a maze, and there's paths to the maze of the robots. Now, you can easily go online and see how there's some videos about how it looks in the playing field of the robots. And so I am actually fixing or cleaning the floor where the robots are moving. There are procedures, there's actions, there's steps, it's the whole science of how to perform on the robotic floor, on the artificial intelligence floor. And so, I was given the privilege of this. This is what I've been asking for. This here is the pulse of products that are taken from outbound to inbound and then shipping it out. So that's the whole stir of that. It was a learning curve, a 3-week training where you're with the instructor, and then after that, you're what they call shadowing someone, and you are following them, but you're also out there doing the work. There was a lot of frustration. Am I cuckoo? Am I stuck on stupid? Am I a dum-dum? When I start a job, it takes me a while to get it right. Through the course of time, you can count on me. Once I get the idea, and once I do it in repetitiously, like Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours, that's the issues I also had in PAC. That was also the issues I had in Stowe. That was also the issues I had in PID. So you have to You have to remember that since I'm on this amnesty track, these people probably see me in the building, but they don't know of me. Now they know of my performance and my work ethic. And my work ethic is slow, I understand. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, it took me 6 months to get that thing right. Get it and get it to an expertise. And God had placed people in place that has patience, for me to have patience and to firmly lean on God. I mean, God is good to us, and He had a privilege to have me go from where I was to where I am now. And so all of the practice, all of the trainers that were in place, from all the jobs that I've persevered through, this right here, this old rugged book I got here. Now, I don't want to beat up a dead horse, but I'm just telling you based off of my story. 4 years of learning, crying, frustration, thinking I have a disorder, checking myself, just all overall feeling downtrodden. But God is still good, and He's still good all the time. So I'm taking off this vest here, and I'm showing you this vest here. Yeah, see it? Little things here. So that's it with the video. This is my story of how I came from nothing to nothing to nothing to slowly getting into a person that has grit. And I still have a lot to learn. And God ain't through with me yet. Reality terms, Amazon is not through with me yet. And I still have a lot, and I want to learn more. So thanks for joining this video. I hope you get inspired. I hope you stay encouraged and never give up. All of the things that you've been feeling is for His glory. Take it easy.